What is going on, guys? Jack here, and welcome to episode 43 of The Charge to the Top, here with Hereford FC, and today I've got for you guys a live commentary coming your way against Oldham Athletic. Since the last episode, transfer window wrapped up, we have played a fair few games. We'll take a look at them, and then there was some transfer dealings to do. In fact, you know what? We'll cover the transfer dealings first, because there's going to be names that pop up in these matches that you've never heard of, and you're going to wonder who they are. So, what happened around the last week of the season, or the last weekend of the kind of transfer window, Jack? What did you do? What was so significant? Well, as you can see here, 6 players signed since the last episode. I don't want to say I panic bought, because I feel like most of these buys, they're fairly calculated, but they were quite reactionary to just how bad our form has been as of late. So let's have a look through them, as well as a few departures first. So we already knew that Paul Durand was going out. Other players to leave us: Oliver Moss has gone to MK Dons for £60,000. It's a pretty good sum of money. We signed him on a really small deal from Maidenhead years ago now. Never really considered him that great a player, if I'm being completely honest. I guess he must have some potential, or MK Dons wouldn't be interested in him. But 90k rather, a very, very good sum of money to get for him. The next player leaving was Ollie Banks. A little bit disappointed to let Ollie go, but at the end of the day, he was kicking up a fuss. He wanted to leave. He wanted first team football. I wasn't going to stand in his way. As a result, I did let him go to Cheltenham. The next 2 sales, nothing too major, they're just 2 loan outs. Lewis Bolton, one of the youngsters we brought out at the start of the year, and Isaac Christie-Davis going on loan to Morecambe, of course, a player who, in his heyday, was such an important player for us, but in the last few years, his significance, I guess, to the first team has somewhat diminished, and we're in a situation now where I don't think we need him as a member of our first team. So anyway, as you can see here, 5 signings, some pretty hefty money paid, but I feel like we've got some really, really good value for money, and if their kind of initial form, I guess, to start the season is anything to go off, these are going to be very good buys for us. The first player we got was Luke O'Neill from Southend. A good little signing, good little right-back, a replacement to Wiseman. Worth noting, however, he can play right and left-back. I kind of talked about this guy last episode, but at 29 years old, he's pretty flexible in his positions, a decent player for League 2, professional personality is already nice. And I'm pretty happy with him as a signing, to be honest. I think he helps the burden that our fullbacks perhaps had on them kind of thus far this season. Anyway, the next player we have, Liam Evans. Definitely the pick of the bunch, 19 years old. Contract was expiring at the end of the year. I went to Man City and I said to them, £500,000, deal or no deal. And they said deal, and then the banker ran. No, the banker. It wasn't an episode of Deal or No Deal, but this was a deal I was really happy to get done. It was a bit of a surprise, to be honest. 19 years old, we have Liam Evans here. He's on a lot of money. He's one of the big earners at the club. You can see 3 goals from him in 4 games. He comes in for a very, very small fee, but he comes with 2 cruxes, really. The first of which is, I promised him we're going to get promoted this year, and that we're going to reach the playoffs next year in League 1. So that's kind of problem number 1. Problem number 2 is, if we look at his contract here, he does have a minimum release clause of £750,000. I'm desperately wanting to get rid of that, if we get promoted, if he's happy to renew a contract, because I don't really want to lose him for that kind of money. This guy, he looks incredible. My scouts were really tipping him to have great potential. Premier League potential was what they were talking about. And as you can see, very well suited to League 2 football. Surprised he's been let go by Man City, but their loss is our gain. £500,000 a club record transfer fee. But, yeah, a good little player. Anyway, the next player we have, joining us for £300,000, potentially, depends on a few fees here and there, David Short of Cambridge. Again, another player whose contract was expiring at the end of the year. He played 3 games for them in League 1 this season, and he's done okay in them. For them. As you can see, for us, 2 games played so far, his average ratings haven't been that great. But I like the look of this guy, 20 years old. You can see not naturally a centre-back, but that is where I see his long-term game being, and that's where we're training him to play. You can see, as a centre-back, he's a very good player. As a defensive centre-back, he's incredible, to be honest. Great heading, great marking, great tackling, good bravery and good aggression and good anticipation as well. All kind of attributes you look for in a defender. Not necessarily the quickest of centre-backs, but nevertheless, definitely one for the future. Only 20 years old. I think £300,000 is a pretty good deal for us there. The next player we brought in, one of 2 free transfers. It's Rob Elliott, formerly of West Ham. He's currently out with a stubbed finger, unfortunately, but you can see in 3 games that he's played for us so far, he has a 7.0 average rating, which is pretty good, to be honest, for a goalkeeper. I also like goalkeepers get the short end of the stick when it comes to average ratings, but obviously 34 years old. He joins us on an 18-month deal, and I'm very excited about this guy. If we look at him, he's 34 years old. I think he's still got a few years left in him, and if we compare him to Russell Griffiths, I mean, there's no real comparison, is there? That gives you an idea of how much of an improvement Rob Elliott is to the goalkeeping position. It's a shame he's not available for today's game, but still, the 34-year-old, very, very good goalkeeper. Delighted to have him at the club. The next player we have, another player from Cambridge, is actually Jack Barmby. This is, of course, Nick Barmby's son, kind of England and I guess English football Hall of Famer. I actually went to a five-a-side tournament that this guy was playing in. He played 2 years below me, but he was playing above his age. He's a very good player in real life, 26 years old, very good winger. And I say winger because that's where he's going to be playing out on the left. We've changed the system somewhat in terms of how we're going to play. He can also play left mid, can also play striker. So fairly versatile. He's got really good legs in him, really good pace. Perhaps his stamina could be a little bit better. His mentals are somewhat lacking, but he's got the determination, flair off the ball and work rate, and I guess composure that I really want from an attacking midfielder. So I'm not too worried about that. And look at his technicals, very, very technically gifted as well. So a good little signing, I think. Anyway, the last player we've got, Isaiah Osborne. Just a little bit of coverage, really. He's definitely an improvement on what we had in terms of the backup kind of centre mid position, and it was one of the reasons that Christy Davis was able to go out on loan. Isaiah Osborne here, you can see 33 years old, experienced player, very good mentals, very good defensively. You know, if we need to shore up the midfield, I think this is going to be the man to bring on for that kind of game. And yeah, he comes in on very, very small wages, so pretty happy to get that done. And those were the transfers. So you might be wondering, how have they impacted our team? You can see here, Jack Barmby, 3 appearances so far, 3 assists and 1 goal. Not too bad for him. Liam Evans, 3 goals and 1 assist. Luke O'Neill, 3 appearances, a 7.23 average rate for the right back. And yeah, those are the 3 that have really featured the most. Of course, I mentioned Rob Elliott, who's unfortunately injured. His form's been very good as well. And while speaking of form, here is our recent games. Of course, last time you were with us, we drew against Chesterfield. As you can see, Dulwich Hamlet and Blackpool, we lost against both of them. 3-1 against Dulwich Hamlet. We lost to them 3-0 before. They are bottom of the league. That is not good enough. We then also went on to lose 2-1 against Blackpool. Perhaps worth noting that in the Dulwich Hamlet game, I was experimenting. It was a bit of a risk, I guess, to experiment. But I was actually experimenting with playing something like this, a 3-4-1-2. The experiment clearly didn't pay off. As a result, following that, I decided to just change things up with our current system. And what I've decided to do is I decided to ditch the inside forward, play Jack Barmby as a winger on attack, and I've also decided to drop Madison from being an attacking midfielder on attack to an attacking midfielder on support. So he's going to drop a little bit deeper, help support the 2 centre mids, I hope. Whereas Mayor Waters and Barmby, 2 very rapid players at this level, they are really going to be given kind of permission to roam forward. And on the attack duty, I think as wingers, they are going to be able to do some seriously good work for us, and they kind of have done already. So anyway, following on from that Blackpool defeat, you can see we took on Crawley and Carlisle and we demolished Crawley. It finished 5-1, a very, very impressive performance. Madison, Evans and Mayor Waters getting goals within the first 10 minutes. The game was kind of over at that point. Ultimately, Mayor Waters picked up the Man of the Match award. He got 2 goals and, well, the first of those was his first ever goal for the club. So good to see him get off the mark, the young Irish winger. And then following on from that, we beat Carlisle 3-2. I feel like 3-2 flatters Carlisle a little bit. We fought back well. There was a very, very late consolation in the form of an own goal by Mizag, but ultimately we did get the win, and that's all that you can really ask for. So yeah, only 4 games played since the last episode. Obviously, 2 wins, 2 defeats. Not exactly ideal, particularly considering how poor our form had been prior to that against the likes of Newport, Chesterfield and Peterborough. We do currently find ourselves in 7th place. We do have a 3-point cushion, however, onto Plymouth in 8th. Our goal difference is very good as well, and you can see the league is still fairly tight. We're only 5 points behind Chesterfield, and with 13 games left, there is still plenty of time for that all to change. Stevenage are, as you can see, equal on points with us. They've got a very good defensive record, and well, you can see here, we have scored the most goals in the league, which is fantastic. Unfortunately for us, defensively, we've not been great. I think that's the fairest way to assess our defensive performances. In fact, we have the 16th best defence in the league, which when you're a team looking for promotion, isn't exactly where you want to be, but I do feel like, the fullback position, especially the right back position with Luke O'Neill coming in, improving, is going to help us out big time. You will notice some of our player condition just struggling a little bit going into today's game. The reason for that being is that the last kind of 2 games have been fairly shortly after each other. We actually played Crawley last weekend, Carlisle in midweek, and today we take on Oldham. In terms of finances, obviously, I did spend quite a lot of money. I know some people are going to go, Jack, you panic bought. I don't think I did. I think I reactionarily bought players who I did have a little bit of an eye on, and I wasn't sure if I was willing to spend the money to get them. I've decided I do need to buy them in. You can see, looking at our finances, obviously, overall balance is still £400,000. We have had £600,000 go out, obviously, to sort out our training facilities next year, because we're going to be upgrading the youth facilities. But no, I'm fairly happy with where we're at. I feel like the addition of players like Liam Evans is going to help us. Obviously, the recent run of form has been really, really rough on us, and I think there were two contributing factors. I think one of them was the fact that James Maddison was out injured, which is kind of a big problem, you know, when he's out for 3 to 4 weeks with a twisted knee. But also Szymanka, who is back on the bench now, was also out injured, and well, he was out for 2 months with a lower back stress fracture. And when you look at our players who were getting our goals, Maddison and Szymanka had 30 goals between them, and Maddison also had the second most amount of assists. So I feel like it's a little bit, I guess, unfortunate that it was a bit of a perfect storm, really. You know, we had some tough games coming up against the likes of Chesterfield, Peterborough, Newport County. Even prior to that, a few tricky games against teams like Stevenage and Plymouth. And the injuries just didn't help us. And I'm hoping now, you know, 2 wins in a row. Hopefully we can get a third win in a row here against Oldham, who are in second now. We beat them 3-0 last time we met, however, so it is going to be tricky. But yeah, I'm hoping that, you know, we can step up to the plate here and give a good performance. Obviously, a slight adjustment to the 4-2-3-1. The big reason I switched these roles around were, really, I didn't feel like the wingers were getting into enough attacking areas. And with the 2 new wingers we have, I feel like we've got a little bit more in the way of, I guess, flexibility when it comes to playing aggressively. Obviously, Ricky Holmes was our traditional kind of man out on the left, and the issue really for him is he's an okay winger, but he doesn't have that greater acceleration or pace. And I know actually our new additions aren't that much of an improvement, but they certainly are an improvement. And on top of that, I don't know, Ricky Holmes, he's ageing a little bit. Obviously, he's been one of our best players when it comes to assists. He's got 12 of them. But at the same time, I don't feel like we can become overly reliant on him. And I feel like getting in a player like Jack Barmby is really going to help us out. You can kind of compare the 2 players here. Jack Barmby, physically just a lot better, but definitely a lot more capable, I guess, of just, you know, working hard for 90 minutes, running up and down the wing, really proving a threat. And I feel like having 2 wingers now, especially with Evans, who's very good in the air, we're in a good position. I feel like that was one issue that we had. If we just look at Szymanka real quick, you can see he's not the greatest player when it comes to his aerial prowess. And I feel like Liam Evans, I mean, you can see how much of an improvement he is, the Man City, or former Man City youngster. He's just very good in the air, and I feel like we're going to be able to capitalise on wingers with him in the system. And with Maddison back fit now, obviously that gives us a really kind of powerful player in the middle to really build our side around as a whole. So anyway, we are at home here against Oldham. As I said earlier, we beat them 3-0 last time we met. I'm hoping we can give a better performance today compared to, you know, what you've seen in recent live commentaries. It's not really been good enough. We've been on a bit of a slump. Obviously, we've not had the greatest kind of I guess, run of fixtures in terms of ease, and I'm hoping today we can bounce back. You know, 13 games left of the season, this being the 13th. We're only 5 points away from the automatic promotion spots. I guess you can look at it 2 ways. You can look at it in the sense that because we don't have to play too many of the teams above us, we're unlikely to slip up points. On the flip side, obviously it doesn't give us an opportunity to really close the gap. We are now relying on them losing to one another. But we'll see how we get on. Obviously, we've scored a fair few goals. We are the team with the most goals scored in the league. We have a few new players, particularly in the attacking positions, but also the likes of Luke O'Neill at right back. Players certainly worth keeping an eye on, and hopefully they can give a good account of themselves, obviously, for their first time for you guys to see them, I guess, on the pitch. On the bench, we have got Isaiah Osborne. We've got players like Szymanka as well. In terms of our team, it's pretty standard other than the players I kind of introduced. And, well, so far, we are the team on top. Oldham yet to have a shot after 17 minutes. 54% of possession coming our way, although there is a set piece to deal with here. Can we deal with it? Russell Griffiths collects it, of course. Wouldn't normally be starting with the new addition of Rob Elliott in goal, who is an improvement, but with Rob Elliott out with a stubbed finger, Griffiths does get the nod, and, well, we know he's capable of playing in goal, and hopefully he can give a good performance here, although, truth be told, you know, with Rob Elliott coming in, it seems increasingly unlikely that he's going to get that good of a run of football for us, I guess, long term. Worth noting, they've got Benteke's brother in midfield, which is a little bit scary, but we'll try and deal with him. I know he's a very, very fast player in Football Manager, and, well, we have fast players as well, as Maddison's breaking through. Can he finish it? Of course he can. He's been out for 4 weeks with a twisted knee. He's come back into the side. He's been very, very good for us, and he gets us a key goal here against Oldham in a game that you'd have to say early on, we have bossed. We have not given them a lot of space to work in. They've not created a lot of opportunities. I think it was Evans with the assist, the Welsh forward, of course, joining us from Manchester City. Very good in the air, very good in his hold-up play. And you can kind of see there, despite the fact that James Maddison is now playing as an attacking midfielder on support rather than attack, it means he drops a little bit deeper to help out the two centre mids, but he's still not afraid, as is, I guess, a prime example here, to really bomb on forward, to really, make a surging run, to run beyond our lone striker, Evans. And, the finish was a very nice finish indeed. Evans holds it up nicely, ball flick through to Maddison. He dribbles through, not the kindest of angles, but he slots it away delightfully into that bottom corner. And, we are 1-0 up here against second in the league, Oldham. We've got a few of our new players on the blocks. Obviously, Danny Evans having the immediate impact. Hopefully now we can, continue to perform. Last time we played this side, of course, we beat them. And I want to beat them again, if we can. They're in second. I want to close that gap on the automatic promotion spots. But we know it's not going to be easy. But we do have an opportunity here. Mayor Waters drifting inside. Goes inside to Romano. Barmby's there. But that was a weird way of saying Barmby, wasn't it? He has the shot. It gets saved just round the post. Decent effort by Jack Barmby out on the left. Unfortunately, he couldn't find the back of the net. But we still might have a chance as the ball is whipped in. And, it's going to be finding its way back out wide to Maddison. He shoots. Was that a cross? We'll never know. Either way, the keeper collects it relatively easily. Probably could have done a little bit better there, if we're being completely honest. But it's still 1-0. I can't really fault the boys, but we do need to look good defensively here. We've had some issues with conceding goals, and, Jack Barmby here, the winger on the attacking duty, with space, whips it in, Watkins clears it, Maddison, Mayor Waters, Maddison, lovely goal there again. It's the second goal of the game for James Maddison. You can kind of see the difference there with our wingers on the attack duty. They are not afraid to be the driving forces forward and pull the ball back, and that's something that I feel like we have lacked a little bit this year. Nice little bit of build-up play, cheeky 1-2, creates some space for Maddison in the box. He slots it away into that bottom right corner, and it's 2-0 here. We look very, very good, although Worrell, with the shot there, Griffiths holds on to it. Maybe a few options on ahead now for the counter, perhaps. You can see kind of our general shape here. We've got this kind of diamond going on with Maddison and Evans working off each other. And, Evans, he wins the ball in the air there. Unfortunately, Oldham do latch onto it, but Kettering's to clear it. Was trying to maybe hope our defenders could deal with that a little bit better, but the ball not kind of fully out of the woods yet, although it is now. And now it's Evans playing the ball up to Jack Barmby on that attack duty, skins his man, pulls it back. Mayor Waters back post. What an assist that is by Jack Barmby. Fantastic stuff. Mayor Waters, third goal of the game for him. Of course, he himself was only a new addition in January. The build-up play here was absolutely delightful. Jack Barmby knocks it through the man's legs, takes on two men, pulls them all across. Mayor Waters, back post on the volley. He makes it 3-0. This is the result last time we played them. Can we get a few more? This is exactly what I want to see. We seem to be clicking. I said, and I want to reiterate it, some people might look at the fact that I've signed 6 players in the last kind of 2 weeks of the transfer window and beyond. A panic by Evans should have finished that to make it 4. I do feel like the players we brought in are calculated, particularly Jack Barmby. He is looking very, very good for us now as the ball, it's still not dealt with here. Edwards plays it forward. Maddison might be there. He can't. Oh, he can get onto it. I didn't think he was going to have a chance there. He has got onto it. He has scored. It's 4-0. Is that his hat-trick? Is that... I don't think... Is it his hat-trick? I can't count. It can't be his hat-trick. Or can it? Let's check. That's the logical thing to do. Maddison... It is his hat-trick. Well played, my son. He's got... we've scored, as you can see here, 3 goals in the last 3 minutes. We've absolutely demolished Oldham. We could have scored as well earlier as well, because Evans missed that open goal where he was clean through. But maybe there's time for more goals. Why not? Let's just destroy them. Let's destroy any hopes this inform Oldham side had of getting promoted if we can. Although we do need to defend it. Nichols coming forward. Griffiths, lovely stop by the goalkeeper. And O'Neill, the new right-back on the block, keeps it in play as well. Nice play by us there. Good defensive display. It's 4-0 here at half-time. I don't feel like I could ask for a better performance. I'm very pleased, boys, with how things are going. Please keep it up. I'm pretty chillaxed, if I'm honest. Sometimes I feel like going into these kind of games, you feel a little bit stressed. I just almost wish I'd made some of these signings and some of these amends perhaps a little bit sooner to our side. I really could have done with making these for the last 3 games that you've seen in live commentaries where we've been unable to get a win. But alas, I'm not going to complain. The team performance as a whole has been superb. Maddison, obviously, a hat-trick for him. Jack Barmby's been good. Mayor Waters out on the right's been good. Liam Evans has been good as well. Part of me wants to take off Liam Evans for Shimanga. The other part of me feels like that would be incredibly harsh considering how well he's played. I am going to take off Antonio Romario, or Romano even, and we are going to bring in Jake Hesketh, the youngster. Just a little change there in our creative midfielder. Romano, he's not had the greatest of games, so we'll make just a standard change there. As we have got a few bookings, which is perhaps worth keeping an eye on. We have got a few subs that we could make. But, well, Oldham, they've been pretty poor. I mean, the possession's 50-50. That's the weird thing. It's just a case of we've been very good defensively this game. Oldham limited to just the one shot in total. It was on target, to be fair to them. On our side of things, you can see 7 half chances, 1 clear-cut chances. We really have been clinical in taking those half opportunities that very often you'll see squandered in Football Manager. And while there might still be time for a few more goals, as Evans has it here, plays it forward to Mayor Waters, using that pace on the attack duty. Can he pull it back? Barmby's back post. I think that hit the woodwork. It did indeed. And it's now going to be dealt away here by the Oldham defence. I mean, it's I'm struggling for words because it's the first time I've seen them actually deal with a cross into the box. Set piece here to deal with. Maybe I want to keep the clean sheet. We're not going to keep the clean sheet. I am going to make a few changes here because we have got a few players struggling a fair bit for fitness. We'll take off O'Neill, who's struggling. Who else do I want to take off? Who else is really struggling? I guess Madison's struggling. Given the fact he's been injured as of late, we'll take him off. Shimanga, he needs a little bit of match fitness, so giving him the last 10 minutes of this game, probably a wise decision. And, well, Madison, he's got his hat-trick. He's got not got a lot else left to play for. Unfortunately, though, a game that looked like we might have been able to get a clean sheet, you know, to show how good we are defensively, is it's going to be kind of not the case. We are going to concede, and unfortunately, it's not what I want to see. I'm a bit worried now that Oldham are going to launch a late frenzy here and get another goal, and that could leave me a little bit worried. As the ball comes in, Donnelly hits the woodwork. Open goal. Probably should have scored. The keeper's positioning definitely worth bringing into question, I think, with that one. But, well, we're still doing okay, aren't we? There's not long left in this game now. It's 4-1. We're enjoying this game. It's been a fun match. It's been nice to see us win in a live com. It's not happened in a while. There might still be time for one more. Jack Barmby, can he pull it back? He can. Watkins unfortunately deals with it this time. Hesketh back into the danger area. It's hoofed clear by Oldham. But, well, this is all... It all doesn't really matter, does it? We've won. We've won convincingly as well. It was already done in the first half. But what a team performance that has been. Great kind of attacking performance by the team as a whole. We continue our run of obviously scoring a lot of goals. It was a game that I wanted us to win. I can't necessarily say I expected us to win, but now with 3 wins in a row, hopefully we can really kick on here at Edgar Street. Turn our kind of home stadium into a bit of a fortress. Get some points away from home. And see ourselves charge up the table. You can see we do move up to 6th, which is nice. We do also create a little 5-goal cushion onto Tranmere, who sit just outside of the playoffs. Looking at the automatic promotion spots, we are now only 3 points behind Chesterfield and 4 points behind Oldham. I assume they've slipped up themselves. Cheltenham actually beat Stevenage. That was a battle between 2 teams fairly high up in the league. Peterborough actually lost to Grimsby in 13th, so that's a bit of a shock result. Newport County won, not entirely surprising. Chesterfield actually drew against Tranmere. So a few results going our way there. That helps us out big time. Now we really need to look to close the gap. You can see really of the 5 teams above us, 3 of them failed to win, and well, it's all still to play for. In this league, no one is really pulling away. Everyone is losing to everyone, and all it's going to take from us is a late run of form to hopefully push up the table and, well, get back to where we were, you know, a few months ago now, where we were sitting fairly comfortably in the automatic promotion spots. In terms of when we'll be back for the next episode, guys, Cheltenham is coming up next time. I will just apologise now. I've restarted my PC. I've been having some weird issues with the 2D match engine lagging. You may have noticed it in that live commentary. It's definitely lagging for me watching. I don't know how much of it comes across in the recording, how jittery it is. It's a little bit bizarre, but I've tried restarting my PC. I've tried various other little bits and pieces. I may well have to switch to a 3D view because 3D doesn't seem to be lagging. But yeah, I apologise for that if that was irking you during today's episode. Obviously, not ideal. I thought my PC restart might have helped, but that simply isn't the case. But anyway, as you can see here, following 5 games without a win, we've now won 4 or 3 in a row. I don't want to get too ahead of myself here. In terms of when we'll be back, Cheltenham is coming up in just over a month's time. I feel like that could be a pretty good game to do as a live commentary. May do the Tranmere game depending on how big a bearing that may have, depending on our upcoming form. If we win a few more games, the Tranmere game might be a game that doesn't quite hold so much significance as far as we're concerned. Either way, hopefully I'll see you guys in the next one. As always, if you have enjoyed, leave a like. If you've got any comments, leave them down below. And other than that, thank you so much for watching. As always, guys, it is me, Jack, and I will talk to you guys in a bit. I'm out.